Hey everyone, and welcome back to our channel and to episode 4 of Dating Disasters Storytimes. I feel a little uncomfortable with this story, but the more details I give, hopefully that gives more context. This was not a school. I do not have any kind of credentials or qualifications. I am just bilingual in English and Spanish. I have a penchant for perfect English grammar, and I am really passionate about helping the Latin American Spanish-speaking community. I volunteered to be a teacher's assistant at an ESL program. The teacher never showed up, and I became the teacher. It was something that I realized I was really good at. All of my students were adults, and all of my students spoke Spanish as a first language. I was volunteering at this nonprofit organization for about 4 years when I decided to become involved in the student placement test and registration phase, which takes place during the summer. Think like May. This is where I met Julian. I've gone into the room, I've set everything up. Really, nobody has come just yet because I got there kind of early, and somebody knocks on the door frame. I look up and I am met by like this 6'4", really fit, dark-haired, very gorgeous man. And we locked eyes, but we were like locking eyes. It was just this very clear, very instant attraction to this person, knowing that he had this clear instant attraction to me as well. He comes in and says in almost perfect English, "Is this for the English classes?" And I said, yeah. Typically, I like to do my information sessions with about 4 or 5 people in the room so I don't have to repeat myself. And when nobody else came in the room, I eventually gave him the information for the English class. During this conversation, he asked me which level of English I would be teaching, and I did not know yet. He thanked me, and then he just walks out of the room looking back over his shoulder and smiling at me, and I wanted to pass out. I wanted to simply die, y'all. He was so good looking. I did not know that while this was happening, the director of the ESL program had been observing us. I guess in passing, I don't know. She comes in and she says to me, "There's a lot of chemistry between you and that tall young man. Do you guys know each other?" "No, I don't know him. This is the first time I've ever met him." "But you like him, don't you?" "Well, yes." She says, "I can tell he finds you attractive," and then just walks away. I went home and I could not get this man off of my mind for 2 reasons. Number one, because he was gorgeous. We've already established that. I was petrified at the idea of this person ending up in my ESL class. I'm not going to be able to focus. What if he sits in the front row? What if I pass out? I cannot do this. The first night that we are doing placement testing is packed. There are people everywhere. I got so caught up in the fact that all of these people were here and I needed to do things with them. The next time I looked up to see who the next person was that I was assisting, it was Julian. He tells me that it's really good to see me, that he was excited for his English classes, and by the way, do I know what level I'm teaching yet? I told him I was teaching level 3. Julian takes his test. Guess whose class he ends up in? Yeah, that's why we're having this story time, because he ended up in my class. I am meeting with every single one of those individuals that have finished their testing and have ended up in my group to let them know this is the book that you're going to need. This is the app that we use to communicate with each other. I help them download the app and make sure that they have access to everything before I let them go and tell them I will see them in about 3 months. Super excited that they've taken this initiative. So I have to do the same thing with Julian. He comes, he sits with me, he is grinning ear to ear, and I am mystified. Level 3 is like intermediate advanced, but his English feels more advanced than intermediate. As soon as he left, I went to the director's office and knocked on her door, and I was like, "Hey, Julian, the super hot guy, are you sure he's in my class?" She said, "Yeah, I wanted to make sure of the same thing, that he didn't just fudge his scores to be in your class." So she did his testing with him. After she had tested Julian and told him that I was going to be his teacher, she said that he got really excited. And then she let the ball drop and said, "I have seen the way that you look at her. I've seen the way that you both interact. It's very obvious that you're both attracted to each other." He swore up and down that nothing was going to happen, that he was going to be on his best behavior. He wouldn't let it get in the way of him learning English. He respected me, yada, yada, yada. Then the director says to me, "I don't doubt that you're going to behave in a professional manner in that classroom. What I am asking you to do is, number one, if things progress with this man, you keep me informed so that if we need to pull him from your class, we can. Number 2, whatever happens outside of this organization, keep it outside of this organization. I just said, okay, I'm not banking on anything happening at all. And she goes, no, because of the way he looks at you, something is going to happen. I was kind of slighted because I was like, ma'am, do you take me for an easy wench? Like what? What's going on? I said, you know what? Don't worry about it. I'm not going to let this affect what it is that I do here. I am going to maintain a good face for the organization. This is just a bit of infatuation. This is just a little bit of a crush. It is June. I've got 3 months to get this out of my system. I should not have a problem. I shouldn't. That evening, I go home. I'm feeling really accomplished. I'm really happy that I've got a good chunk of students out of that entire group. And as I'm getting ready for bed, I get a text through the application that I use with my students. It's a direct message. And it says, I am so happy to be in your class. Sweet dreams, my beautiful teacher. I do this thing with my students where once I've gotten them in the app, I don't want it to be something they've downloaded and forget about and never access. So on a semi-regular basis, I will reach out to them, remind them that they need to purchase their books, remind them when we're starting, do little virtual Q&As if people have questions. I'll send them YouTube links or practices that they can do. I was doing that with this group as well. Now, a lot of my students were direct messaging me because they were just warm and excited and had questions and just wanted to say, hi teacher, I'm so-and-so, and hi teacher, it's nice to meet you. It wasn't that out of the norm that my students were texting me. However, Julian would text me on a very regular basis. I would get good morning texts from him. I would get, teacher, I hope that you have a day that's as beautiful as you. Occasionally, I am responding because he's my student and I want to make sure that he doesn't feel like I'm ignoring him. We're having some low-level get-to-know-you conversation. That kind of moves into learning more about the fact that he's from Venezuela, specifically Maracaibo. He came to the United States after the financial infrastructure in Venezuela collapsed a few years back. And ever since then, he has been working jobs with only English-speaking people, which explains why his conversational English was so good. He loves soccer, he's 33, all of these other things. I'm 29, I'm smitten, it's a good time. But then I mess up, and I mess up big. We have moved from May, from when we first met each other, to June, to when he did the placement testing, and now we are in July. I realized that this app gives me the opportunity to post a profile picture, which I had for some reason never seen before. I had just taken a really nice picture with a group of friends, so I go in, zoom in, cut out my face, put it as my profile picture. I don't know if the app sent out notifications to everyone that I had changed my profile picture, but within minutes, I had a DM from Julian, and Julian's DM said, I have a gorgeous teacher. You look fantastic in that picture. Heart emoji. I was stunned. My read receipts are on, so he can tell that I have read his message. Then I start overanalyzing, going, okay, he knows I've read the message. I have to respond back because if I don't respond, it's going to be weird. So I respond and I just say, thank you so much. You're so sweet, Julian. He responds, you're welcome. You have such a pretty smile. Then I responded, thank you. You have a very handsome smile too. Why did I do that, y'all? Why? Immediately hearts the message and then responds to me, you think I'm handsome? The messages start pouring in. I like your hair and I like your smile. I think you have beautiful skin. I like your lips. I've liked you since the day that I met you. I'm watching these come in and I know that he can see that I have read them, but I'm speechless. I have no clue what to say. I'm mortified in the sense that I realize that I have this mutual attraction with this man, and I am relieved in the fact that I have this mutual attraction to this man, and I wasn't just making it up in my head. He finally stops for a moment and texts, I would like to see you. And I respond, I would like that too. Julian and I continue texting over the next couple of days, and we coordinate our schedules so that we can go on our first date. We decide that we're going to go to a Korean bakery / coffee shop. I show up earlier than expected because I don't like to feel like all eyes are on me when I'm walking in to meet somebody, and I needed to stake out when he showed up so that I could at least prepare myself. About 5 minutes after me, Julian shows up on the back of this black motorcycle. He's wearing black leather. He's got the jacket. He's got his hair slicked to the side with his little Casanova self. We had, all in all, a great date. It was very chill, even though the tension was there at times. He was very good at conversing, and we just had a good time communicating with each other. After the date, he walks me to my car. He says that he's had a good time with me, thanked me for coming out and meeting with him, and then he asked me if he could have a hug. I give this man a hug, and it was like I melted into him and he melted into me. I was like, this feels good. I'm gonna stay here. And he was the same way. And we just stood there, I don't know for how long, just kind of holding each other out in the parking lot. He leans over and says in my ear, "I really, really like you." And I looked up at him and just went, "I really, really like you too. But you're my student." He kind of went from like, "Oh, that's funny," to kind of confused to, "Oh, she's serious. Well, this is awkward." And he says, I know. I really respect you, and I won't do anything to jeopardize you or make you look bad." So I said, "Thank you very much. I appreciate that." And we went our separate ways. I had really mixed feelings because, yes, I know that what happens outside of the classroom stays outside of the classroom, but I have just started this connection with this man that is so intense, and I have a good 60 days before the school year starts. Anything can happen in 60 days. And that is the problem. Thank you so much for tuning into the first half of this story. My student tried to seduce me. If you think you can guess where the story is going next, I'd love to see your comments down below. In the meantime, feel free to check out any of our videos. If you're bilingual, you have no excuse. You can watch everything that's on our channel. If you're not bilingual, you have no excuse. We have subtitles in every video on our channel. Hopefully you enjoy some of that content until we see each other again next Wednesday. Just remember, as we always say on our channel, that with God, nothing is impossible, and I'll see you soon.